Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Team Dinner. My guest today is Marwa Osman. Marwa, welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
We are glad to have you, and we're eating Fuki Japanese cuisine from Union Square, Somerville. So I'll let you pick first.
We're going in. I'm just going for a classic roll right off the bat.
Yeah, there's salmon, tuna, and a crab maybe. Oh, there's a shrimp tempura.
Nice.
There's nothing crazy. All right, so one question I like to start people off with is, we are now in April. So is there a meal from 2025, a recent meal that you have had that has stood out in your mind as the best of the year?
Does it have to be Boston based?
No.
I was just in New York this weekend, and I went to this place called Heroes. Such a good meal. Everything was, they did it seasonally. The menu was like handwritten, so you knew it was like fresh, and everything is just changed out all the time.
Yeah.
And everyone at the table, we got a dish. Everyone's like, this is the best thing I've ever had. Then we got another dish, and everyone's like fighting for the last piece. All the way to the dessert. I'll think about the meal forever.
Yeah.
It was so great. And then we're still like talking about how good it was.
Yeah, and the presentation was part of it.
The presentation, the restaurant had a nice vibe to it as well. The
Yeah.
waitress, she was so friendly. It's just like all the little elements that come together to make it just a great experience.
Yeah, I once was at a restaurant in Lisbon, which was like functionally like a group of 23-year-old guys that were friends, like throwing a house party that they also served food at.
Love that.
And it was like probably the best. And the food was great. The food was really, really wonderful. But like that the presentation, the little nips and tucks that someone like me would never think of, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's like I talk about that meal like once every
That's the
like
best.
4 years ago. I talk about
It's
it
like
every
a
other
little bit of like, it could be like the best meal ever, but you have to have that perfect combination of like, if it was the best meal you've ever had, but the wait staff wasn't particularly friendly, it just always into it.
Yep.
And it's like that perfect potion of like, wow, that was amazing.
Yep. Yeah, you're so right. Because there's times where like, the food is really good, but the wait staff's not great, or like it's like so expensive, right? And you're like, there is this like, everyone has a calculus in their brain for like a great dining experience, and like everybody's different. It's like some people put all the emphasis on food and they don't care if it takes 5 hours, and like some people put it on presentation. My grandmother always used to talk about pretty meals, like she loved pretty meals, like that was really important to her. And then there's cost, and then there's the drinks and the pairings and everything. It's like everyone has that little thing in their brain.
Yeah, which is why like liking a particular restaurant is just so subjective, right? Because you can, all those little things, like maybe the meal was so good but it wasn't pretty, so your grandma wouldn't rate it as high as I would. So it's funny because when people get all worked up about like what they like and what they don't, and you're like, maybe your experience was different, or maybe you were looking at other things. You never know.
That is this program exists to get people worked up about subjective matters. So this is the right way to start here today.
People get so passionate about food.
Listen, I think people get passionate about food. I think people in Boston are incredibly, and Massachusetts in general, are incredibly passionate and feel ownership, and they love what they love. They love the things that they love, right? And if someone shares a view that is not in line with theirs, they'll just they want to let you know.
They do.
They do in the comments.
One time I did like the 5 uniquely Boston foods, and I actually
want to ask you about that. Yeah.
I did a fluffernutter sandwich. Yeah. This restaurant had given me like a traditional fluffernutter, and then they were like, do you want to try the banana one that came toasted? I put both in the video. Big no-no, because traditionally you do not toast the bread that is on the fluffernutter.
And the comments,
they clocked it right away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I said it was both, but they have an eye for it, which, I mean, I love the passion. That's what makes it fun.
Oh my God. It is, we'll get into that. we can
speechless.
We could sit here and unpack that for hours. Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna have some of this, and then I'd love to start. Maybe I'll ask a question, and I'll eat a little bit. I'd love to start kind of with your experience. I think You have built quite a following. It's really, really impressive. I think not only that, you are like prolific might be the word. Like you create a lot of content. You are. I can tell that you are working really hard.
Thank you.
At doing this, right? Because I think a lot of people go out and they'll do on a Saturday. They'll shoot a couple things and they'll post it a week later, and then they'll be like, "Oh, why isn't anyone like you are?" I can say unequivocally, like you are putting in the work. So that is obvious, at least to me.
Thank you.
So what I would like to kind of talk into like how did we get here, right? Like how did this start? If we could go back to the early days where you maybe flipped the camera around on yourself for the first time and kind of how it grew. I'd love to just kind of hear the history and how we got to here. And you mentioned earlier that it's 3 years full time, which is an accomplishment.
It's insane.
It's really it's incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so if we could maybe just enlighten us on that process, I'd love to hear more.
I mean, out of college, I went to school for graphic design. Out of college, I worked at a PR and marketing firm in Boston, and we predominantly worked with restaurants. So we got to like talk to the chefs and like do all the fun stuff, go to the events, and I feel like that's where like my first taste of like what working with restaurants was like in Boston. And then I had some like graphic design jobs, and I went off on my own, and I was doing social media and graphic design for clients. And one day I was like, I don't want to do graphic design anymore. I want to do brand strategy. And I love that stuff because you can like kind of dig into like what makes a brand special and like the kind of like the mission and the purpose of why someone's creating something. But I decided to do that like at the end of the pandemic. So it was really hard to find clients or like convince people to work with me because the hard part with brand strategy is not everybody needs it, but not everybody knows that they need it or wants to put money towards it.
Right. It's squishy and people...
Yeah. It's so necessary, but I'm not only have to be like, hey, you need it, but also like pay me for a whole other thing. So I was just in between and like posting random stuff on TikTok, being like, let me just try this out because I've advised my clients in the past to do it all the time. So I'm like, let me just try things out. I was trying on outfits. I was doing silly stuff, giving business advice. And then one day it was snowing and I was like, it'd be cool if I like told everyone where to go because it's snowing out. And I like put together a list. And it did so well on TikTok. And I'm like, let me just put it on Instagram too and see how it does. And it did so well. So I just like banged out a couple of those and kept it going. And then just evolved from there. And that was 3 years ago. Yeah.
So there was a moment. There was this moment where it kind of your life went in a different direction, right?
Yeah. It happened. Luckily it happened when Instagram was pushing Reels really hard. So like the growth over the first like month or two was insane. Like I went from, I think I had like, I had posted on this account that I had where I had it for years. I was posting my Bloody Marys around Boston and just like taking photos of them and ranking them. So I posted it on there, not thinking it was going to blow up. And it went from like 1,000 followers to like 20,000 in like less than 2 months. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And just had to like, I think just continue the momentum from there.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
It was awesome.
That's great. And that is obviously the city, I want to talk about the city lists, right? That was kind of your way in, was these are the things to do. These are the places to go. These are the things to try. These are the list for the city.
It was, so when this all happened, my page was called Boston Bloodies. And I was like, oh my God, this is blowing up. This can't be Boston Bloodies. I got to change it to something. So I changed it to Boston Food List. And then it's been 2 years that I was like, okay, I want to do more than food. And I feel like Boston Food List kind of put me in a specific box. So that's when I changed it to City List. And that feels like so right. Creating guides and then talking about like the food and the experiences and just everything else that is exciting to me.
Yeah.
And sharing that.
Yeah. I love it. I love that. And then can we talk a little bit about like the process for making these lists? Because I know a lot of work goes into that, right? And I think it's a lot of people maybe just take it for granted, or they think like, because this information, it's not everywhere, right? I'm sure you spend a lot of time on the internet, on social media, trying to find stuff to do. Like, what is that process like? Like, how do you get those lists together?
People ask me that. I'm like, I spend like so much time online.
Yeah.
Like, how'd you find that? I'm like, I scrolled and I found it, and like I saw something and clicked it, and then found something, and it really is just being chronically online. Yeah. Putting the hours in.
Oh, I respect it. I mean, a lot of people are chronically online and they have nothing to show for it. So
True.
So there's
Let's validate that time I spent.
Yeah, that's right. If you're gonna have your screen time through the roof, you might as well have it culminate in something useful for people.
Yeah, and it's like about paying attention to. There's always like someone posted something on Facebook or a blog post, or there's like a little chatter of something, and just like being hyper aware of what's going on, so that I can pay attention and see what like the trends are. But in terms of like the lists I create, there's no method to my madness. One day I'll wake up and be like, you know what? I went to 2 places and this is a similarity between them, and let's just put it into a nice list for people.
But I like that. I think that's good, because it goes back to not, if you are only making lists of seafood or of even any type of, like, your lists are, there are many different things, and so it doesn't put you into one corner or known as one person. You're more of this curator of everything, locally at least. That's I think that.
Well, this is how I ended up here. I couldn't focus on one thing. It's only right that the Instagram page follows suit.
I guess that it is copying our, we online as in real life, perhaps. All right, so weather's getting warmer, cities opening up. Do you have, I know you are well-traveled, I think, everywhere, and I think I love some of the stuff you do. Like, you went up to New Hampshire, I saw not long ago, and I think there's a lot of places in New England. Do you have a New England summer weekend place? Is there a place that you'd recommend?
I've been a Nantucket girl.
Yeah.
Because in college, I worked on Nantucket for a summer. Cool. So it really, I fell in love with it. But now I'm I was just in Portland, Maine. The food is so good there. Yeah. So I'm there's just so much exploring to do there. Kennebunkport, the food is good. Yeah. Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So there's so many places to explore. I feel I'm okay, I did Nantucket. Yeah. Check. I love it. There's such great food there, but let's go north and explore all the other places in New England.
Yeah. I think that's a great answer. Portland is
outstanding.
It's so fun. It's very small, right? I one time accidentally walked from one end to the other, and not that long. So it's not big, but I think it has everything you would ever want in a small city. The food is really good.
So good.
The bars are good. There's arts, there's entertainment, there's things to do. I love Maine. I love Maine in the summer. Maine. So
it's refreshing.
You're Nantucket in the rear view. Yeah. Maine, and we're going towards Maine.
We're going Maine, yeah.
That's great.
The beauty of Nantucket is it never changes.
Yeah.
So it'll still be the same once I circle back.
Yeah. Just a little bit more expensive every year.
Well, yeah, that's true.
No, that's good. We my family's long been Cape Cod people. So around this time every year, in that March, April, when it's starting to warm up a little bit, I'm thinking about the Cape hourly. That's all I can think about.
We're daydreaming.
Yeah, it's just because the weather, you're not in the worst part of the winter, and the sun is, you see it kind of on the horizon. It's I'm thinking about the food. I'm thinking about fried clams.
Yeah. Yes.
And light beer and all the things that I like. Yeah, the sunsets, the beach. So yeah, I'm in there's this period for me of basically April to Memorial Day where I am sick with New England summer fantasies that before they become real. Yeah. And so I'm deeply in that bad headspace right
We're in anticipation mode.
Yeah.
We're getting there.
And this people, I know it didn't snow a ton this winter, but it was really cold.
It was really cold.
It was, and when it did snow, it stayed on the ground for months because it was so effing cold.
We deserve a good summer. Yeah. You're gonna get that Nantucket, Cape Cod summer that you deserve.
Thank you.
With the mudslide.
The mudslide, yeah. I'll go to the Beachcomber.
That's a good one.
Have you been to the Beachcomber?
Yeah. It feels like you're in a different somewhere else.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like a vortex into I don't know where, but not New England.
Yeah, the beach is like spring break, and then the beachcomber is it's I love it. It's my favorite. All right, cool. So I think we've covered a lot of the backstory, and I appreciate you sharing all that with me. I would love to pick your brain on a couple things.
I'm nervous.
No. There's these are no wrong answers. To me.
To you.
To the people at home, they're gonna nitpick everything you say.
The pressure is on.
There is pressure, but so you mentioned that video because I thought that was a wonderful video where you put it was the North Shore three-way, the fluffernutter sandwich, steak tips, Boston cream pie, and Bar pizza. All right. So 5 things. So you did a great job of identifying places that are doing them all well. I guess my question to you, you're from here, if you had to rank those in order, how would you rank them personally?
The dishes that I like, yeah.
Those 5 things, from first favorite to 5th favorite.
This is the hardest question that's ever been asked. I asked you the question again to be like, are we sure this is what we're doing?
We ask hard-hitting questions here.
Yeah, this is hard. Okay, I already know. I know Boston cream pie is last.
Fair.
The three-way is great. Okay, I love pizza, so pizza's gonna go first. Bar pizza.
Easy.
Let's do steak tips.
Steak tips too.
We'll do the three-way.
Three-way. Then that would leave
the fluffernutter.
Fluffernutter.
Cream pie.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
We'll lock that in.
That's good.
What about yours? What do you got?
I would do... Oh, man. I wasn't expecting this. Okay. I love steak tips. I think steak tips are a really cool, unique thing. One of my friends used to work for a kind of grass-fed cattle sourcing.
Cool.
So he worked for this company. They did Walmart and Whole Foods and all these kind of national brands. And he told me this kind of cool thing about how tri-tip goes to California, brisket goes to Texas, and steak tips, they're like the kind of the leftovers because everyone gets ribeye, everyone gets sirloin,
right.
Everyone gets the big cuts, and all the steak tips from all over the country come to Massachusetts. And I thought that's cool. A really, really cool thing.
Yeah.
So I will do steak tips.
Okay.
Then I will do. For me it's the beef and the pizza are close. Oh my God. I'll do. I now live north of Boston, so I have to go with my people, and I have to say the North Shore three-way, bar pizza, fluffernutter, Boston cream pie. I never really liked Boston cream pie.
No, I mean it just, it really depends on where you're getting it from.
Yeah, I guess I don't have much of a sweet tooth. The other thing I could add, if I'm trying to think of anything else, would be like clam chowder.
Well, there is something, but I don't think anyone makes it anymore. But there's an American chop suey sandwich. That was, I think, made somewhere in the North Shore. They had it, and somewhere I think in Fall River also had it. But I think both places closed. And I'm like, I wish I tried this sandwich before it was gone because it's like strictly a Massachusetts thing.
Oh my God, I've never even heard of that. American chop suey sandwich. Huh. All right. I'm going to look it up now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you're going to find it.
We're going to bring it back.
If you find a place, yeah. Like, I need to try it. I don't know what that experience is like.
Oh, man. I can't even really picture it.
It's like...
What kind of bread is it? I don't know.
Yeah, you're going to have to look it up.
All right, that is a great answer, I think. There's the bar pizza. I'm sure you got a lot of people are so passionate
about bar pizza
and North Shore three-ways.
Yes.
And like if you say a place that like the online bar pizza community like doesn't like, right? They're probably jump down your throats, and if you don't go to one of their places, I'm sure
I think with the three-way, Modern just does it so well that like there was no argument for that one. But the bar pizza, everyone's answer is the right answer, and there's so many places that do it.
Yeah.
And there's like, I don't even know. I wish we could like count and see how many places, but I could never get it right.
I know. It's like we almost need a standalone series on bar pizza, because there are a lot, and there are places like, it's like you say there's 3 places, and you're like, these 3 places are great. This one's my favorite. Everyone's like, you fucking idiot. What are you talking about? Yeah, it's like, no, I said they're all good. I just like this one the best.
You have no taste buds. No, you can never eat again.
that is functionally how we are here. God bless us. Okay.
Even like, I think I was telling you, Facebook, I think, is the harshest comment community.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of like, she's not even from here, just because I didn't mention their favorite places.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It is, yeah. I love how people who lived in the suburbs, grew up in the suburbs, never left the suburbs, will tell you like that you don't know anything about Boston, right?
I don't know. How could I have gained more information other than living here my whole life? I don't know what to do.
Yeah, we are. We had. Do you know Christian Dwan Chopstick Murphys? Yeah. So he's like awesome, and he was our first guest on here.
Oh, that's fun.
And he was wonderful, and he...
Did he stick his fingers in your food?
No, we because I think we were just the two of us. He didn't want... But that was like... Because that was very much like my first time entering this world, let's say, right? And we talked a lot about that, about how people are like always on his case for like... he's like, if you call Cambridge Boston, they'll kill you. Yes. And if you, say this place is good and you don't mention the other place that used to be there, they'll kill. And it's like, he gave me like a very thorough rundown of what makes people angry. And he also, I think, admitted like he purposely likes to kind of like needle people a little bit to kind of like rile them up.
Oh yeah,
and he's
good at it.
Yeah, he's very good at it. Yeah,
so good at it. I think the Boston thing is big. Yeah, like if I say Boston area, and it's in Cambridge or Somerville, I'm gonna get called out a couple times, but it's hard because if I don't put Boston in the video, it's not gonna do as well. So it needs to say the word to like so that because I think people are looking at it just generally and not being like, I need to go into Boston today. So it's like, it's hard to be true to as factual as possible, but saying Boston area is factual, right? I don't even know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to comply with the algorithm as well, or else all your work is useless.
Yeah, and like for most people, they are not the geography police, right? Like many people, I think like the vast majority of people, if you said the best cheesecake in Boston is in Brookline, like most people will be like, okay, yeah, that totally is okay. Like I don't care, right? But there's just the people that's gonna like ruffle their feathers, and they want to let you know.
I think more people are doing it now that it's not. I think people used to get more angry than they do now, which is nice.
Yeah, it's good for engagement, right? I think that we have a lot of geography police. All right, no, that is a great answer, and you put me on the spot, which I appreciate. I should actually have a response ready, queued up. All right, so another thing I want to talk to you about is I am not much of a dessert eater, but I think you have done, in going through your post and having followed you now for a little bit, I think you are good at identifying all things, including a sweet treat. I think there's ice cream and bakery. Let's include bakeries too, right? I think
I love sugar, so this is great. Whatever you're gonna ask is great.
Yeah. So I appreciate that because that's just not where my attention is. But like if I'm out, I love knowing what's available, right? So I guess my question to you would be, if I had to make you pick your favorite dessert in all of Greater Boston, do you have an answer?
I love sugar so much that I do not have an answer. Like, I'll eat.
How about a favorite? First dessert that pops into your mind, something that you love.
Ooh. What will I? Oh man.
There's no wrong answers.
Only all the answers I think of when I leave. And I'm like, damn, I should have said this. No. Now I'm blanking. I've never had dessert before. I have no idea.
That is quite all right.
Why can't I think of something? That's tough, but there's a lot of good ice cream places and a lot of good local ice cream places. Not to go back to what we were just talking to, but I think people feel also very passionate about where their ice cream's coming from. Last summer I did like a top. I like polled everyone and then did a top where to get ice cream in Massachusetts, and there were so many good spots. Yeah, like using like local dairy, local fruits, and all that stuff. So ice cream is done well around here.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. I think there are a lot. It's a good point, right? There are a lot of local ice cream. There's ice cream stands, right? People get like very down, I think, into the, not only are there companies making it like handmade, but I think there's a lot of places that are, kind of that end of the final mile or whatever. People that are serving it. I think that's great. I think like donuts are another thing, right? Like people like there's a lot of donut places that like fly under the radar that are making like really good donuts. Yeah. Like a lot of towns have their own donut place that people love, that like people outside that town like have never heard of, but people there like they defend it.
Donut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you need a fresh donut, so it makes sense to have one like right around the corner from you.
Yeah. You like donuts too? You like every sugar?
Sure.
Yeah.
It's bad.
That's that is good. Ice cream, donuts, Boston cream pie.
We need someone who's doing Boston cream pie right, because I did in that video. I went to the Omni Parker house where it was invented, and it was so bad. Yeah. It was so bad. Yeah. I'm like, who's gonna take the crown and do it right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like pastry shops by me. There's Royal Pastry. I don't know if you've ever been there. They're like right across the street.
No.
From here. They're really good. They're like kind of an old school. Lindell's. Have you ever been to Lindell's in Somerville? No. They're good. They're kind of like old school. Like you walk in and you're like back in time. And there's just not a lot of those places left, but I like love those kind of old school dessert pastry shops. Right.
Did you ever go to like Joseph's in Southie? Or it was just
I've not been, but I know of it. Yeah. Yes. From being online.
And it has like that Bova's, like it's just like stacked with stuff, and you don't know who's buying it or where it's going, but everything is there for you. Yeah. At all times.
Yeah. Is that your favorite Southie? Kind of, I don't know, what do you call it? Like a sweet treat store?
Like sweet treats in Southie? No, I outsource my sweets.
To where?
To, for someone who loves sugar so much, I think it just like ends up around me. I'm not like going to get it. Unless it's ice cream. There's a JP Licks that I like. And then there's Van Leeuwen, like in Seaport, that I'll just hop over to and get some stuff there. All
right. I like JP Licks.
Me too. I know I hate to say Van Leeuwen because it's not local, but they do a good job.
Hey, we all gotta have our. I am the biggest proponent of trying to always buy from local places. I have adopted this thing recently, where I try to I want my dollar to go as close to my house as possible, right? And so I am a huge proponent of that. I am trying whenever I can to buy from small restaurants, from family-owned places. I still go to Chipotle, right? Once in a while. I still like to do those things. I think, we're making an effort.
Yeah.
But like life is,
I just thought of my answer.
Yes.
So I don't eat gluten at home.
Yes.
Because I developed a sensitivity. I'll eat it when I'm out to film. But Vervain, it's a gluten-free bakery in Cambridge, and they have a carrot cake that's so good.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And I'll just get it, and I'll just work on it slowly throughout the week.
That's good. That's good discipline. I eat the whole thing in one.
Well,
in
once
one
if I eat it, it's gone. So I gotta drag it out.
Yeah. Good answer. Really good answer.
Thank you. It came to me. The brain works sometimes.
Listen, these are. I know these are. I'm not trying to catch you off guard. So, a question I like to ask is, if you're going out for a drink only, no food, just drinks, is there a place that you would tell your friends, let's go here?
I think I'd pick one of two places. They're both new. I'd either go to Kaya in the South End. I love the bar. I love their cocktail program. They have such good cocktails. Or I'd go to Marcelino's, which is also new in the Seaport. And that's more of like a vibe. It's very like sceney. The cocktails are also very well thought out. But they both have a good high energy.
Yeah. All right. I'm just making sure. Okay. That I asked the right questions here. This is one of my favorite questions. Is there a spot in or around Boston that if you were celebrating a special occasion, so it's not an everyday place, but a special occasion, is there a place you would like to go to for dinner?
For a special occasion, I love Grill 23. It's classic.
I do too.
It's just a classic spot.
Yeah.
And the steak is good. The food's good.
Yep.
You get the martini with the ice on the glass, and it's just, it's perfect.
Yeah, it's a great answer. And the steak they have great steaks.
They have good steak. Yeah.
They have, I don't think anyone online can argue that they serve a good steak there. That is a great answer. That is a great answer. All right.
I like the positive, affirmation, confirmation.
Well, I also, I guess to be fair, I think every answer is great because I love hearing what people have to say.
Yeah.
Right? And there's, the thing too is like, so with, so I grew up in Cambridge, and then I left for a long time, but then I lived in Somerville and now I live in Medford. And so, Cambridge is very easy to come into Boston. So Somerville, Medford, not hard, right? But like, there are so many places to try. And there's places that like, my list of places to try is getting longer.
Same.
Then I can check them off, right? And so like, I always appreciate people's opinions. I always appreciate hearing what people have to say because, like on Saturday night, you're like, I can, even in a place, and I know Boston doesn't have the best like culinary reputation, right? But like, I'm very overwhelmed trying to get to everything. So
yeah, when I first started, someone was like, "Are you worried you're gonna run out of restaurants?" And I was like, "I don't think that can ever happen." Like you just named two places. I know they're bakeries, but still, I've never been.
Yeah.
And now I'll make sure to check them out.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just always something that you find, or like a new neighborhood, or like even just like a suburb of Boston that has a lot of stuff that is so exciting to go check out.
Yeah. I agree entirely. So that is why I get excited for the things.
I feel the same.
All right, here is another question that is on the flip side, which is, do you have a like favorite budget meal anywhere in Boston?
I love going to Galley Diner in Southie.
Yeah.
And like me and my friends go for breakfast. We try to go once a week. And it's super cheap. It's a diner. The food's good. And it's just like one of those spots where you're like, yeah, this is like how it used to be. And I hope it never changes.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love those kind of old school diners where it's like you get in, you get full and have 7 coffees for $9, right?
You just keep refilling it before you even ask. It's amazing.
I love diner coffee.
Me too. It doesn't even count. It doesn't even count as real coffee.
No. I'm not kidding. I'll have like 7 cups.
Yeah. And I'll still be tired.
Yeah, and I'll go on a nap. That's a great answer. Okay, a couple more.
Yeah, let's do it.
I love these questions. So, another question, which is, we touched on this a little bit, but what type of cuisine do you think is done well here that is maybe below the radar? So like not the seafood, not the North Shore Three-Way, not like, is there something that you think kind of is below the radar in and around Boston, but is like done really well?
I did a video with Christian and Vivian of Vietnamese spots in Dorchester, and everything was so good. Yeah. I think the Vietnamese food is done so well. Yeah. And there's so many places in Dorchester.
Yeah, that is a really, really good answer. I would actually, someone asked me that question once, and I said Vietnamese. There's where I moved to Medford, but Malden has like a ton of really, really good, all types of Asian, but Vietnamese places too. Dorchester, Malden. I think the Vietnamese food is like very, very good.
Yeah, I agree. Malden has some great restaurants.
It's like my favorite. I didn't know a lot about before I moved there, or to move to Medford, but the food is awesome. Like there's a couple of really good Vietnamese places, a couple of really good Thai places. Speaking of steak tips, there's Dom's, which I love. There's a couple good bars. I just had pho there like last week. That was fantastic. It's called Saigon Envy. If you have the opportunity, in Malden Center, fantastic pho.
That's good to know.
Really good. Like the broth is like, I'm far from an expert, but like I took a sip. I was like, this broth is amazing.
Well, then now I have to try it because that sounds like a good testimonial.
Yeah, I think the food up in Malden is really, really good. Yeah, Vietnamese food. Same page. Okay, and then, so this is something we've been doing where, so that, speaking of rage baiting, we've been doing these blind rankings. Are you familiar with these? So what it is I'm going to give you, what do I have here? I'm going to give you 7 neighborhoods of Boston. And you're going to rank them based on the quality of the food of those neighborhoods.
I'm sweating. Okay.
So you don't know what's coming next, right? So you're not going to get every neighborhood in Boston, but you're going to get 7 neighborhoods in Boston. And then I'm going to give you 1, and then you have to put it 1 through 7. And at the end, you're left with a list that is probably not how you would have done it had you had it from the start.
Okay. Let's do it.
These are meant to be challenging. All right. So blind ranking, Boston neighborhoods based off of their food. 7 random neighborhoods. Neighborhood 1, East Boston.
Let's do 3.
3. All right. Neighborhood 2 is Charlestown.
6.
6. So 3 and 6. Number 3 is Beacon Hill.
5. 7.
7. Small.
It's small. There's not a lot of options there.
All right. So we've got 3, 5, and 7. All right. Sorry. 3, 6, and 7.
Okay.
Right? Charlestown was 6?
Yeah.
Yeah. 3, 6, and 7. All right. Number 4 is Jamaica Plain.
Ooh. Let's do 4.
All right. 3, 4, 6, 7. Number 5 is Dorchester.
2.
2. 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7. Southie is 6. So either 1 or 5.
Let's just put in 5.
Yeah. And number 7 is Back Bay.
So I guess it's number 1.
Yeah, dude. All right. So Back Bay, Dorchester. Then we had East Boston. 4 was Jamaica Plain. 5 was Southie. Then we had Charlestown and Beacon Hill.
Yeah.
That's I think that's pretty good.
I'm not mad about it.
I think that's pretty good. I think that is one that is designed. We did that once, and I explained like the blind, like that's not every neighborhood, and people like get very upset. Like, you didn't put in Alston Brighton. It's like, well, if I gave every neighborhood, then everyone would just list in the order that they know, right?
Right. We gotta skip out on some.
Yeah. So you purposely have to leave some things behind. I usually put the North End, but that was a big one because everyone always puts that first.
Well, I wouldn't have, so we would have gotten some rage debate there.
It is. Well, I would say I think the North End is like a lot of places that has a history of good food and a few really good places, but then it also just spreads like mediocre tourist food, right? Is kind of the unfortunate state there.
Yeah, I wouldn't go and just pick a restaurant. No. I think there's some specific places doing some good things, but yeah, I think there's a lot that aren't.
Yeah.
But they're doing fine, so, I don't know.
That's right. I think the top of the North End is really high. Like the places that are at the high end are doing like really, really good food. I think the middle there's just a lot of mediocre in the middle.
Yeah.
Let me say it that way.
Yeah, but people like it.
Yeah.
So.
It's cool. I mean, it's cool to walk around. The energy's fun.
I won't yuck their yum.
Yeah. Okay, and then in I think in conclusion here, I'd love to talk about like where is this all going? Like, what are you excited about for this year? For you, not from like no more pop quizzes. What can we expect from you in the future? And what where are we taking all this?
Yeah, I have been trying to focus more on like New England cities.
Yeah.
Of the past 2 years, I've done a fair share of traveling outside of the country, and I think I've just left so much on the table around here. I love Providence so much and all of their restaurants, and I would like to spend a lot of time there and like try everything and see what they've got. The creativity there is amazing, and they have some really great spots. And then just building off on the guides and not just doing food, doing other things and finding experiences. And I always say that like I did all this because I'm super curious about things. So just like letting that lead to some other avenues. Like, I don't know if it's other experiences or who knows, but just opening it up to more than food and just being a resource for people to try something that they normally wouldn't try and go out of their comfort zone.
I love that. Keep leading the way. Keep being curious, right? Because I think your curiosity is your I guess the action you take behind your curiosity is like obviously very much appreciated, right? I think you're following, growing, and people engaging in your content. Like, I think it is very much appreciated, right? I think a lot of people are just curious and then that's it.
Yeah.
And so I think your curiosity benefits a lot of people. So I'm happy to hear that, and I think I have no doubt that your many followers and future followers will continue to appreciate that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, everyone has a reason for doing what they do, and like the restaurants have like there's a story in a lot of places, and just sharing that and having people know about that and creating that connection that makes that place special for them is like so huge. And I feel like it takes someone's favorite spot to the next level. It's like you create that connection, so then it's like your favorite spot forever, and it builds that loyalty that we love and we hate, and nothing else will be better than that, but it's because you know the story, and I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. I think that's right. I think the showing people the story behind the place is important, because every place has a story.
Hopefully. That's what makes them interesting.
Yeah.
I think some places don't.
Right. I guess,
Yeah. Which is hard sometimes. You're like, you want something to hold on to.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The places that do have a story are more fun.
That's right. Just keep telling their stories.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, Marwa, thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Please come back anytime.
This was fun.
It was lovely to have you, and we'll keep an eye out for what's next.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.